Hello, Dana. Yay to such a successful session. Right off the bat, I definitely noticed a lot less laddering, which is good. I would though, and I think it's just the chair he's in that kind of has a bend, but I would really try and coach and get his body hips all the way back so he'll have a straight back, because he was kind of leaning and poking weird, just for more accuracy. Also too, can work on the pencil grip, but again, we want to be very conscious of his regulation. So if it seems that you're fixing the grip too often, is kind of spinning him up, then just chill on it for a little. But yeah, he's still kind of holding it like this or even like this. And we just really want this nice strong with about 2, maybe 3 inches. Great demeanor. I loved your tone, everything. Also too, maybe with the pencil, you can try one of those shorter pencils. Again, to help with the laddering, if he's in a nice straight back posture when he pulls forward, I would just, instead of, sometimes he just pulls back a little bit and then he ends up kind of doing that loop of that motor of going down, really say like, okay, in and all the way out, like bend that elbow all the way back, pull your arm back, and that way he can kind of reset, look at the board, think about where he's going. After about halfway, because it was such a success, I would have moved on from the spells and tried a green or 2 and see how he did with that. Because, you definitely promoted success, kept it with spells, kept it nice and easy and low-toned. But in that case, because it's been so good for those 10 minutes and however many words, I would have tried a green. And totally fine if it didn't work, go back to the spells. Again, remember that he's always poking with, I think, just the right hand. There were a couple times it got to the left. Towards the end, too, there was one word, I forgot, started with an F. And you could tell, it was just towards the end of the session, so his endurance, the eyes were getting tired, everything was getting tired. And after a couple mispokes, he seemed to kind of get aggravated, or his body did at least. So if that's the case, sometimes I'll just, support them even more and say, okay, first letter's F, I know you know it, get the F and go, just to get him going like that. And let me see. I know Mom at one point said, how do you know he's not guessing? And it's tough. But, just say that part of this process and how we work with every client and where everyone started, it all looked like this. You can say my mentors had like 60, 70 different spellers over the years, all ages. There isn't one of them that doesn't know how to spell or isn't aware of the answer in the session. That's when you can kind of talk about how, that's why we have these lessons set up the way we do. Whether or not he had heard about this information today, because I just read it and I know that he can listen and understand and process what's going on. I read 4 sentences, I spelled out a few words, so I know he knows how to spell those words, even if it was his first time hearing them. And then I'm asking questions directly correlated to the most recent paragraph. So that's part of what, presuming competence is, and we're going to presume that he does know all these answers and he's not guessing, and it's just his motor that is, he doesn't have control over. But, we're building those motor pathways, so eventually he'll be able to go right for that F when he needs to get the F. And, you did well pointing out that there's improvements, more accurate, less kind of injurious or even less verbal loops. And yeah, just remind her slow and steady wins the race. Unfortunately, there's never going to be a magic number for when anyone progresses, but just remind her that just like any new motor task, we're gonna prompt super duper duper heavy. It looks a little weird at first, but eventually everything fades out and there's no questioning whether or not he understands the content. Let me see what else he said. Yeah, if you need to cover the board, just for the one word, if he's super accurate, then you can uncover it. So for the ABA and the rewarding stuff, I would just say that, you know, from your experience and what you've read from advocates and other parents and practitioners, for the most part, a lot of these guys' time in ABA was pretty traumatic, and especially at his age, you know, you don't really want to treat him kind of not like a dog, you know. I wouldn't say that to the mom, but we try to stick away from that kind of immediate reward system in STC because, you know, the reward is helping him get to communication. Sometimes if it doesn't cause too much of a problem, I'll let the client watch their videos or hold their iPad while I read, and then as long as they can, you know, put it down once I'm coaching them to put it down for the questions, then that's fine. But still, I wouldn't say like, oh, do these and then you get that. And yeah, for me, you know, I've heard of a few good ABA therapists. Mostly I have really only heard horror stories, so I always try and kind of say, I think there are some good ones, but for the most part, from all of my families that I've heard firsthand experiences, you know, they don't really treat them age appropriately. They don't presume competence. You know, how would you like it for a year of your life being told to touch the red box, but your motor was unable to get your hand to the red box? So they didn't think you knew what a red box was. And so, yeah, I would just say, you know, we try to stick away, especially from food rewards, because that is very triggering and that is what everyone's always used for years and years. But you can work towards a little bit of iPad time if he's able to put it down. And then just say, you know, if you really feel like he needs that kind of encouragement, then we can just try and work for 30 minutes and say after 30 minutes, mom can do whatever she wants, but you are not going to be the one that, you know, brings treats or anything. But it's a tough one because, you know, it's their house. Maybe if she was coming to you in the clinic setting, I would have a little different advice for you to be a little more like, okay, well, that's what you do, that's what they do. I know you've seen it work, whatever, but for me in my clinic, we are not going to practice that. And yeah, you're doing great. Let me know if you have questions.